Okay, time for an update in the Colonel Sergey struggle to get out of Nevada. So we finished yesterday. As I changed the axles, right? And so big thanks again to Jeff from Building M across the street from Petrol in North Las Vegas. You the man. But turns out I learned a lot in the past 24 hours. I learned a lot about the my trailer, actually, but in part thanks to a fan in Ottawa called Jamie. Jamie, thanks a lot for the tips. He texted me saying that he might have some info for me that might come in handy, and so I called him, and he has the same booster, and he gave me some, good idea. So basically what I learned, and I did not know this, that basically 2 + 2 versus 3 + 1 requires more shims in the deck. That's what he says. And he does like super heavy stuff, like 65-70 ton. And so basically he's saying that if I had the red shim in the deck, if you remember, I changed from yellow smallest to medium blue, and he says if I had the red one, like my biggest one, that might help with the issue where the booster cannot put too much pressure on the last tandem. And then I talked to JC Trailers, and they said, yeah, this is something that we can correct or make it right for you. And so I thought, like, when I come back, but then I started talking to this guy Jamie, and he gave me an idea about shims. So basically, yeah, what was causing the problem with come on, it was okay before. Yeah, hi. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, another guy was asking me where I picked it up. For some reason, this is the second guy that's asking me for. Somebody told him that this stuff picks up somewhere here, like there's another storage yard, and I said no, it's all downtown. So I don't know anything about. And he says, oh, I thought you loaded at the trade show. I said, yeah, I did, but they told me to go downtown. And so, yeah, so what I learned, the most important thing is that 2 + 2 will work just fine. So they don't need to modify the eyes on the front of the spreader. All they got to do is just, because you saw the opening, right? So what you can do, according to this guy, Jamie, and I saw other guys do this, you remove the pins at the top. So the whole spreader is connected only through the bottom, like massive pins, but the top is open, and then you have to get some kind of shims that have a design that will keep them in place with no pins. Or he said, actually, another guy, what they did, JC Trailer made them like a bolt, instead of a pin with a safety pin, they make them like a bolt. And so that bolt kept that shim in there. So anyway, so I asked JC Trailer if do they need me over there if I send them pictures. I said, can you make me some of these shims so that next time I can use 2 + 2, because again, 2 + 2, like for example here in Nevada, 2 + 2 is better because you get 50,000 per tandem. Hey. Another visitor. All right, we got lots of visitors. Yeah, what's up?
I'm a fan of yours.
Oh, cool. Like that, it's like a delegation today,
You must be getting busy this way.
Sorry, I was I was pointing the camera in the wrong direction. All right, so I finally found a way to make it sit on top of my steering wheel. sorry. Come on. All right, and we have airplanes here, fighter jets, you know, flying all over the place. Very cool. And the same, you know, jet. So you gotta know that if you hear the sound, then the plane is like, you know, way to the left or to the right, whatever, right? And so yeah, so I learned a lot about shims today, more than I cared to know. I hate this shimming stuff, you know, but basically, yeah, the major thing I learned is that a 2+2 setup requires more shims than 3+1 setup. That's one thing. And then, of course, 2+2, I was looking at the regulations, like in Nevada, they give you almost, I think, 50,000 per tandem, whereas if you ever tried them, they only give you 60, you know? But then this website I'm using, they said if you have 3+1, you can get like 60 and up to 28, which I cannot use because my axle is only rated for 23,000 pounds. So 2+2, if you can make it work, it's they like it, you know. A lot of states are like this. You get more per tandem than per 3+1, and that's why I thought I would do it like that. And then I get disappointed, you know, like in the last video I said, that's it, no more 2+2. But that's the thing I see right away, like I'm almost 10,000 pounds short, you know, compared to 2+2. And I'm talking to JC Trail, I'm talking to this guy, Jamie, to other guys, you know, and so it's all about shimming. It's all about shimming. And the latest development is that I asked JC Trail, I said, can you guys make me these shims without me being there, since this is your product, right? You probably have the drawing still, right? And I can send you some pictures. And so Armando from JC Trail says, yeah, send us pictures and we'll see what we can do. And I said, I will pay you to courier these shims to me, because I don't know, maybe next time I'll use again, especially with you know, spring restrictions all over the place, it might be better. So you might see me again doing that crazy stuff, but honestly I don't want to do it. I'll just pay somebody to take it from A to Z, or A to Z as we say in Cambridge, Ontario, you know, like crawling under there, all these, nothing fits, you know, you have to put one pin then the other, nothing works like easy, right? So that's why you don't want to do it all the time. You want to choose one, basically choose your poison, 2+2 or 3+1, and leave it like that. But this Jamie guy says they're changing the shims on their deck all the time, and he says they use even double shims. He says when they have like a 65, you know, 70-ton load, they have to put in like almost 1.5 inch of shims in there. And then when they empty, they have to remove it, because he says it's impossible to drive like that with here's a guy with a, what's going on here? There's a guy with a, he was parked behind me. So this is Kenworth, I think it's Aspen. Yeah, Aspen. So he has a Tridem Jeep, 2 wheels up, 2 axles up, pretty long neck and drop side rail, 3 axles in the back, and that's a West Coast. And a tandem Stinger. And I see that a lot of guys, they don't bother with adjustable Stinger like mine, or hydraulics, you know, they just use a fixed rigid Stinger like what he has. But now that I have this one, I don't like those. No, I think this is much better, as long as you make it work. But so the secret sauce to all these boosters is shimming procedure and deck shimming. So once again, what we learned is that using a 2+2 versus 3+1 requires more shims in the deck. Okay, because we're gonna do a test after, so you guys pay attention. All right, and so yesterday I did that, went to bed. At 10 o'clock at night, which to me is like 1 o'clock in the morning, I hear, you hate that, you know, that sound. I open the door, a cop's uniform, and I see he's driving a cart, like a golf cart, so probably security. I was parked near the pumps in there, out of the way where I saw everybody was parked, you know. He kicked me out. You cannot park here, it's, you know, no parking area. I said, I'm 105 feet long, like, where am I supposed to go? Oh, park on the street. He says there's a dedicated parking on the street right behind the truck stop. He says there's pockets over there, and you'll see like hundreds of, you know, oversized loads sitting there. So that's where we want them to sit, you know, if you're too long. And then I see this spot where I'm sitting right now, and there's a sign that says 2 wide loads. Basically, only 2 trucks can sit here, and there's a orange pylon here indicates like you cannot park on the other side, right? And there was a truck here, but it was a short truck. It was a short truck, and so I parked. When this guy kicked me out from that parking area near the pumps, I just did a circle, and I parked in here. Went to bed. 20 minutes later. And I'm in the sleeper, and so I see the guy coming. I open the curtain there, and he just pulls in. I open the door in the sleeper, and I look him from the bed, and he's like, basically, what are you doing? I said, you told me to leave, but then there's a sign here that says 2 wide can park, right? 2 trucks. And he says, yeah, but you're so long. The end of your trailer sticks out into the car parking area. And he says, somebody will hit you. I'm telling you, you want to go around. And I'm like, how do I turn around? Oh, there's a bunch of streets in there. He says, you don't have to turn around. Just go in there and just, you know, do a loop. It's like, you know, police brutality, you know. So I went in there, and sure enough, I see a bunch of, well, okay, I'm kidding about police brutality, but just it was a bit annoying, you know, to go to bed and be raised twice, and you know, I was still in the proper parking area, except yeah, the rear was sticking out a little bit, and so yeah, that's where I spent the night. Spend the night in there. Nobody bothered me, except of course there's cars, and I'm thinking, how am I gonna move the machine in the morning, you know? But I checked when the sunrise is. It was at 6:45, so I set my local time, so I set my alarm for 6:15. Got up, and with a heavy heart started all this unchaining. Took all the chains off. Got in the machine, turned the battery disconnect back on, turned the ignition key, put down the lever that activates hydraulics, just like on an excavator, except this one is like looks like a walking stick, like the way it's, you know, like a walking stick with a curved top. You just push it down, and that's it. That's all your hydraulics, and there's a joystick, and I'm sorry, I didn't have time or energy to film that because it's a really dangerous machine, you know. And as the guy explained to me, there's just single joystick, kind of like, you know, like on a dozer or something, and it's a 4-way joystick, right? So very easy, forward, backwards, left, right, you know. So as long as you keep it straight, the machine should not turn, it just should go back. And so I was able to, and the guy says go easy on the phone. He says go easy. And so I just touched it very little until I started hearing the like humming of hydraulics, and then it started moving very, very slow. And I had like this much, about 2 feet, you know, half a meter, or about 55, 60 centimeters to go till the underside of the machine was getting really close to my neck. And so I brought it like this far away. I don't know, 5 centimeters, 2 inches. And then I rechained, and of course now some chains did not work because the position of the machine versus the D-rings changed. but I put 8 pairs of chains on it. 8 pairs. So each pair is good for 20,000 pounds. So I got enough to hold a 160,000 pound load. And that's how we roll. I have never lost a load yet, and I'm not about to. So the thing is tied down as tight as I could make it. The frame, the tracks, and the boom is immobilized as a pin that locks the boom, so the boom cannot go anywhere. The guy says, well, if DOT gives you trouble, you can put a couple of chains here on the back where the counterweights used to be. But I don't have to do it, you know. I asked him, do you want me to put a strap over the boom? And they said, well, actually, we prefer that you don't, because there's all these cylinders, hydraulics in there. And so basically, yeah, I'm 105 feet long, and I have I had a 8 feet overhang, but now I moved the machine. I have a 6 foot overhang in the back, like that boom. So I put a flag in there, and we're pretty heavy. And basically now I'm just waiting for my last permits to be issued so I can start trucking. And the guy next to me says he's been waiting for his permit for 3 days, because then I talked to my permit company, and they said lots of offices send people home, and they work from home. Like they do work, but now they are slower because of this. And they said, yeah, so this can take a while, right? And my broker was asking me about updates, so I keep sending them emails, you know, and I said, yeah, I hope you realize how much work I've done so far, you know. Moving the machine after it's already chained and loaded, it's a lot of work. And plus, of course, the booster, right? But now, hopefully, that situation will be resolved. I only had the phone number for my main guy at the plant I'm dealing with, the JC Trailer. So I said, if you could send me your email address, it will be easier to send you pictures. So I took my fancy Canon and took a bunch of shots. You know, people are staring at me like a truck is walking around with a fancy camera. Yeah, I love this Canon EOS R, and I got this new 24-105 f4R lens. Super nice, you know. And as soon as you take a picture, you can see, you don't have to look at the back of your camera to see the result, like on a regular DSLR, because it's a mirrorless, right? You see the preview right in your viewfinder. It's so cool. And then you can even make it show you the actual, you know, histogram, so you see if it's like too dark or too light. And the coolest thing about this mirrorless is that what you see in the viewfinder is how your photo will come out, you know. Like, I like to add some saturation to my photos, and if you look and you set up your picture style, right, and if you look through the viewfinder, you will see how the colors are, like, let's say, too much, you know. Like, the blue looks like it's just too saturated, you know. And at first I did not realize that. So you don't have to take a test, like, you know, with the DSLR, you have to take a test shot, and then you know if you're oversaturated or overexposed, underexposed, you know. But with the mirrorless, it's all there, all in the viewfinder, you know. It's so cool. So it makes it much easier. And I love, you know, sometimes relax like this with the camera. And so, yeah, I took a bunch of shots of the connectors, of the big gap in there between the spreader and my Axle 3 right now. And so eventually the plan is to go back to 2+2 with proper shims. And JC Trailer says, yeah, if I send them a bunch of photos, they will see if they can make me the shims and then send them to me by a courier, you know. Because I have no idea when I'll be back in Ontario. I need to make money to pay for all this fancy equipment. And on a bad note, what I see again from my side of here, before I show them how I keep cleaning my hands and wearing gloves, right? Like, my experience with this crisis is that, like they said on the radio, they closed off. You can buy food like McDonald's and stuff, but there's no sitting. you can get that sandwich, but you have to kill yourself on your own property or outside. So like when I was in downtown Las Vegas there, or some people say it's not downtown, but anyways, it was next to Circus Casino, and there's a McDonald's there. And I went in there, everything is open, but nobody is, like, I think they closed off all the tables area, so you can just buy your food and get out. And so here at this Petro, they did the same thing. Like the convenience store is open, the Dunkin' Donuts is open, but the sitting area they had like 6-8 tables in there. They have a yellow tape, like a police tape around it, so you can buy coffee or food, but you cannot sit down there. And the restaurant is open, but there's a notice on the door says takeout only, so you can go in and order takeout, or you can do it online, but you cannot sit down. So basically inside the truck stop there's nowhere to sit, you know. So people are still milling around, you know. One guy was coughing. I immediately ran away into the opposite, but he was coughing like in his elbow, you know, but not too bad, maybe just like a smoker, you know. But you start panicking. I ran away. I see this guy is like the previous time when I saw the guy with the mask, you know, I was trying to stay away from him. I don't know, maybe he's infected, right? So this guy starts coughing, and he goes to look at water. I'm like staying far away, you know. I went in the opposite direction, but did not see any dead people, did not see any ambulances, or the only cop I saw was the guy who didn't let me sleep yesterday. And then the shop closed early, and I saw a guy posted something on the door. But basically that's what I see from my point of view as a driver, that yeah, basically you can buy food, you can buy water, whatever you want, but you cannot sit down inside the truck stop, even though the truck stop is open. Oh, and the same here at the fuel island, they have a great deli, and people are wearing gloves, like the deli workers, but they have great food in there. It's just basically, it's all changed to a takeout only, you know. I wonder how bars now work, because actually the governor of New York, I was listening to his speech, how they closed down, you know, the same stuff like here, restaurants, and everything is takeout only. And he was saying that people called him, and he says the majority of calls were to complain about him closing bars. And he says, I don't know if that's indicative of something, but he says that's what most people are upset about him closing bars. And he says, please do not blame your local, you know, mayor or whatever, your politician. He said it was me. He says it was my decision as a governor of New York State to close down bars, restaurants, and schools. It was a pretty cool speech, you know. But now I have the satellite radio. I don't touch it. I went inside and I looked at some. There was a huge TVs, and all these politicians are speaking out. The world is ending. The end is near. I don't want to listen to it because it's all very negative, you know. I don't hear any good news. Well, actually, in the past 2 days, I feel much better because I don't listen to this stuff. So no radio, but oh, one thing that happened is that, because, you know, I took my laptop after I finally I moved the machine, right? I came back here, I rescaled. So now the axle weights are more or less okay. Like definitely 3+1 works, because I have a shim between axle 2 and 3, right, where I can put it between my flip axle and my tandem on the trailer. And that shim, I put the red one in there. It helped a lot with the spreader, and so now I see my airbags are pretty much the same on 3 axles and then the 1. But 2+2 would be better because of how much weight they give you. Like I said, like Nevada gives you 50K per tandem, I think, you know. So it would definitely help with a big load. But so this is my biggest load yet, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't think I was so long before. I never had a load where it was sticking out so much. And so, yeah, so I'm learning as I'm going along. And so if I don't do something right, don't blame me, because I never did this before. You know, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher of English, right? In my past life, across the ocean 5,000 miles away. Oh, and so what happened is that after I did this, after I spent probably, I don't know, 2 hours moving the machine, unchaining, rechaining, and then I came here and I did a split weight. This time it worked, and this guy actually helped me. The guy parked next to me, Harvey Trucking. Thank you, Mr. Harvey. You know, when I did the first weigh on the first 3 platforms, he started running towards me. He says, okay, I got you, basically, keep going. And I said, yeah, I want to scale 3 + 1 separately on platform 2 and 3, and because I cannot see, you know. And so he helped me. He says, oh, I'll stop you when your tridem is on the 2nd platform. And my truck was off, my Jeep was off platform 1, and so perfect. We have the full scale ticket, everything is cool. And so then, of course, I have to start working on the rest of my permits. And so, you know, as normal, I just grab my laptop because I didn't have the inverter here, right? I can only charge the laptop when I'm driving because it's a very slow charge through, you know, through, this is like a budget inverter. Works, you know, like very slow, but it takes like 5-6 hours when I'm driving. But it's the same on my laptop, has the same plug-in as my phone. So all these basic, you know, cables work. Like, I like that. So it's all the same stuff, you know. But now I go inside the truck stop, I'm like, wait a second. I see a plug-in in the wall, but there's no chair in there, and I don't know if they want me to sit in there. I see nobody sitting down, so the truck stop is closed. People are just walking in to order some takeout. The Dunkin' Donuts is sitting area closed. There's nowhere to sit at all, and so right away I had to make a $50 decision, and I bought this. This is a Power Drive 400 watts. And I know these things, they don't last very long. They will burn your fuses. So it's, of course, it's still better to use them when your laptop is fully off, you know. Otherwise, a couple of times that I heard like it was just trying to beep, like probably an overload somewhere there. But I charged my laptop and I was able to work online. So now my laptop is fully charged. And so the plan now is to stay away from other people, spend the time inside, and I only go to the truck stop to use the washroom and buy coffee, buy some sandwiches over there. And the weather is good, so I don't need the heater when I sleep. And yeah, I know that the border is closed, but it's only closed to non-essential traffic. They did not close cargo movement. You can understand how having this pile driver or drill rig is essential. Otherwise, a lot of people will lose their jobs, right? So they don't want that, but they don't want passengers, people traveling just for fun. You know, all these, what they call them, snowbirds, you know? If you're a snowbird, you're out of luck. But if you're a trucker, it's still okay. So at least that's my understanding of the situation. And so yeah, that's what's happening. So now we're up to date. I'll do another video once I start trucking. For now, we are sitting here and watching trucks come and go. So this is all very exciting. So I might actually just put a GoPro in here. We'll do like a commentary, you know, like truck watching in Las Vegas, Nevada. But at least everything is done. You know, I feel some kind of a satisfaction that I did, you know, a lot of work. You know, with chaining, loading, you know, moving the machine, changing the boost. So it gives you some kind of a satisfaction that I'm doing my part. Now all I need is some pieces of paper from bureaucrats to allow me traveling towards Canada. So Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Be safe. And please don't cough.